Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lunch with Laura. I am Laura Lee Collet, Stampin' Up, Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I started the Lunch with Laura series 2 weeks ago, and if you haven't joined me before, you can go to my YouTube channel, and I have them posted there with all the directions to the cards that I'll be making. And I realized I hadn't really told y'all anything about me. I am a retired kindergarten teacher. I taught for 20 and a half years in East Baton Rouge Parish. And as a kindergarten teacher, it was a lot of fun. It could be challenging, but I loved the teaching part of it. And since I've retired, I got into jewelry making, and then in 2004, I went to see my son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. And when I got out of the car, my daughter-in-law greeted me with, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" "We're having a Stampin' Up party." And I said, "A what?" So then she proceeded to tell me how a demonstrator was going to come over and show how to make homemade cards. Well, the poor demonstrator, we went through and tried to get her to show every technique she possibly could. And finally she said, "I've got to go, I have a babysitter." So we ended up, my daughter-in-law, her friend, and I all ended up signing up. So a couple weeks went by, I got my order from Stampin' Up. I opened it and I started to create cards. I ended up calling my daughter-in-law in tears saying, "I can't do this, I don't know what I'm doing, help me." So that was really about the time, I guess, Google maybe was starting to become as popular and you could find things there. Then later, Pinterest and all the other things have come out. And now it's very easy. Hey, Alta. It's very easy to find and get your creative juices just by Googling a stamp set or Googling Stampin' Up cards. So if you get stuck, do that. And but anyway, the rest of the story is that I have been a Stampin' Up demonstrator for 16 years this month and love every minute of it. I am totally addicted. And if you're needing, in these times where we're stuck at home more than not, if you need something to inspire you and you like to create, you need to take a look at our cards. So with no further ado, I will get on to what we're going to be making today. The stamp set I'm using today to demonstrate our card is one of Stampin' Up's new sets that's in the mini catalog that just came out a month or so ago. And you can see that it has chess pieces, cards, a straight flush, dice, a club, a little checkerboard, and then the sentiments read, "It's your day, roll with it. Lucky me because I have you, and I hope your day is full of fun and games." So this is a great set for anybody, especially people that play board games or card games. And I think the men are really going to like this set too. So those on your list, use this set. Now, the card that I came up with has the straight flush and the lucky me because I have you. I play Pekino. I'm in 2 different groups, so I made this for both my groups and they just loved it. And then I even decorated the outside of the envelope and put a little checkerboard on the inside too. And this sentiment came from a PDF we had that Stampin' Up put out, where you could run this off at home and pick out different phrases, and they were related to the COVID and to the quarantine situation that we're in. So I'm going to put that aside. Put a little paper down to keep from messing up my main one. And I'm going to show you what we're using today. We're only using 3 colors. Real red, basic black, and whisper white. Now, let's go back and look at our card. We've got our card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it in the middle. That's at 4 1/4. And I'm going to fold that over. Use my bone folder to get a good edge if I see where it is. And it's disappeared, so I'm going to use my finger. Next, we have the black layer that's going to go on top. And it is cut at 4 and 5 1/4. And I'm going to use this is Stamp and Seal, our new tape runner that's come out just since June when the new catalog came out. Now the way you want to get this started, or to check it to make sure, is see if it's sticky there. If it's not, roll it a little bit with your finger. And I'm breaking it by just making like a check mark off to the side, just to break the adhesive so that it doesn't make a string out like mozzarella cheese does. So I'm going to put that there. And then see this little diamond shape that's behind here? These are our new vellum doilies. They come 24 to a pack. They're square, but in the case of this card, I turned it so that it would be a diamond shape. And the way I'm going to adhere this is I'm going to take some of our multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to put that in the middle here, because I'm going to put the playing cards on top of that, so you're not going to see it. Vellum can be a little tricky to use because you can see through it, and you don't want to see the glue that comes through it. So what you can also do is take little glue dots and roll them between your fingers, and then put them in places that won't show, and that would anchor it down. Now I'm just going to set that aside for a minute. Oh, and I do want to mention to you that I'm having an ordering incentive this month. If you place a $50 order with me using the hostess code, which I have right here, you can get a pack of these doilies for free. So when you go to my website, stampinupthebirdnest.com, over on the right side you'll see the hostess code, and then when you click on shop and select your items, then when you go down to checkout, there'll be a place where it says host code, and if you'll just click on that, a little box will come up and you can put these letters and numbers in. I have a new code for each month, so this is for August, and the vellum special is good until the end of the month, and 1 per order, and be sure to put the host code in. Okay, now what we're going to do next is do our stamping. Now for the playing cards and the background, I used pieces that were cut 3 by 4 inches. Then for the sentiment, they're cut at 2 by 3 inches, and each one's going to have a layer. So let me show you how we're going to do that. Okay, first of all, this is our Stamparatus. This is a positioning tool, and it comes with 2 plates. So here's one, and here's the other one. And I'm going to show you how to place it. Now what I generally do is take a pencil or a pen and just mark. Like if you're doing multiples, it's a good idea to do that just so you'll know where to put the next sheet in. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to anchor it with our strong magnets. You don't want them to get together, or sometimes they'll break, or they're very hard to get apart. Then I'm going to place it where I want it. Now on this particular thing, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be fussy cutting that out in a minute. Okay, so press that down and it sticks to the grid plate. And all you need to do is ink it up. So I'm taking our black Memento ink, and I'm going to ink it up like this. And the best thing about the Stamparatus is if you put it down and the image is not clear or it needs more ink, all you do is re-ink it and do it again. It'll be in the exact same spot, but be sure you use your magnets. The other thing is that Stampin' Up! Has a simply chamois that can be used to take that off. Now this is a chamois, but it's one I got at Walmart, so it's not as good, but it works for right now. So I'm going to leave that there, take this away, and I wanted to show you that oops, dropped it on the floor. With the second plate, you can put on another, I'm going to put the sentiment on there, but if you were using different colors, you could go back and forth between the two plates. It has a lot of things that it'll do. Again, I'm going to anchor my page down. I'm going to put this where I want it. Flip the plate over and ink it up. I'm not sure you can see that, so I'm going to take, these plates slip in and out, so I'm just going to take this one out and turn it. I'm a southpaw, so that's going to be a little different. And you can do it any way you want. So there we go. And there's my sentiment. Okay, I'm going to take this and place it aside. The next thing we need to do is, and I'm going to quickly fussy cut this so that you can see what to do. As I said, I taught kindergarten, and we did a lot of cutting and pasting. And I would tell my children to cut, when you get to a circle or a corner, you want to take little bites around. And then on the straight area, you can take big bites. I like that. So just curve it. And there you have the first one. Now, what I did was I went ahead and just glued this to the layer so that it would stay put. And I can just cut around it. Now I want to leave, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so around, or a little more. And I might not go this fast if I was just doing this for myself, but for your sake, I'm not going to spend all day cutting. So just so you have a little layer behind the cards, and then we're going to bling it up. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And there you go. And little bite, little bite, little bite. There we go. Now, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of here to hold it in place. These are double-sided foam that raises up. I'll get all our things out of the way. That raises it up, or what we call pops it up. So as you can see, I've got dimensionals back here and also on the sentiment. So I'm going to put, now see how this is going to fit right over that glue blob, and it won't show. So peel off the back. And that's there. Now the only other thing I want to do to the cards here is, since that's an ace of hearts, that heart needs to be red. I'm taking my dog builder punch because it had a little heart that was about the same size. So I'm just going to put my scrap in and punch a heart. And then I'm going to take a glue dot, and I like to find my glue dot, put whatever I'm going to be adhering. I put that on first and then put it right there. Okay, so that's done. Now we need to do our sentiment. Now, when I started looking around for what I wanted to pop this up with or use so that I could do a layer, I didn't have a punch that worked, and I didn't have a set of nested labels that would work. Now, nested labels are, you know, like the little Russian play dolls the children have, where you have the big one and then each one gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you've got this little bitty doll in there. Well, that's how nested labels are. So I didn't have that, didn't work. So what I ended up doing was looking through my dies, and I found the little treat box, and it had this little cute little die that I want to use for the, wherever I put it, here it is, for the Lucky Me. Oops, stuck to my finger. Then I wanted one a little bit bigger. This came from the little treat box. And then the next die I used was this one from Painted Labels. And then it'll be cut and that'll layer on top. So to do the cutting, I'm going to get out my this is the new, and I'm going to bat my camera up a little bit. I hope that you'll be able to see it. Nope, it's still too big. Okay, it has plates that fold down for easy storage. So they go up and then you open it to use. Now the handle is right here facing me just so that I can roll it through and you'll see it, but you can put it on the left or on the right depending on which hand you use. So, and the best thing about this is so easy to use. It's the best thing since sliced bread or ice cubes. It has, move this over a little bit, it has numbered plates. Now number 1 is the one that tells you that this is for dies. It gives you the instructions here, or it says this is to use with thin dies, and it gives you the diagram of how you stack your plates to make a sandwich. Down below, it shows you how to do it if you wanted to use an embossing folder. So we're going to be using dies, and this is plate number 1. So I'm going to put it in first. Then I'm going to layer plate number 2. Then you have 2 clear plates that are both number 3. So I'm going to put one down. Then I'm going to put what I'm going to be cutting. Now, this is not the magnetic plate, so I am going to use a little bit of Post-it tape so that I can center this and it won't move while it's going through. Then you're going to top it off with plate number, the other number 3. And then, let's see, I don't know if you can see the handle or not. You can't. Anyway, you're going to just crank it through, and there you have it. I'll get this out of the way. It's very easy to maneuver. It'll be great for crops and stuff. Okay, so we have our base, and you have the cinnamon on top. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal again. Remember to break it off, and if it's not rolling, remember to put your finger right there. Okay, then I'm going to put this down in the middle. And I'm also going to pop this up. Okay. I'm using 2 dimensionals. Some people I know like to use a lot more, and that's fine too. So here is my card. And I'm going to put it right down towards the bottom and center it. I'm eyeballing it. Now, I have a reputation with my friends that they can always tell which cards are mine because they have bling on it. And I never really realized that about myself. It's amazing what you do that you don't pay any attention to. So, to get the bling, I'm going to use 2 things. I'm going to use our jeweled rhinestones, and I'm also going to use Winkostella. Now, if you're new to Winkostella, when you open the package and you take the top off, there is a little black ring right here. That ring has to be taken off in order for the fluid, that to be pierced and the fluid to come down into the chamber. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology or what, but anyway, I had primed this one before. So what I'm going to do is just a little bit goes a long way. So just, I'm going around everything that has red on it. Just adding a little sparkle. It's clear, but it's got some glitter or something in there. And then I'm just going to, of course, do the heart and around on both sides of the greeting. And it probably would have been a good idea to do that before you put it on, but I didn't think of that. Okay, so there's our Winkostella. Now I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and get out if I can find where to open them. Get out our jewels. These are great to use. They come in different sizes, or 2 different sizes, and you can use as many or as few as you want. Now I'm going to put a big one on that heart so that it really kind of jumps out. Then I'm going to use the smaller ones, just anywhere you want it. And all you do is take the end that has putty on it, and if it's getting globby or a little bit, just break it off and then just twist it a little bit and it'll come out. You don't want to twist very much, but just enough so that you've got some sticky on there to hold it. Okay, let's see. I think I'll put one down here, one down here, a couple around. Come on. Okay, now there you have the outside of your card. Now the last thing we need to do is to take that little checkerboard piece, and I've got my envelope and the inside of the card is somewhere. So here it is. All right, I knew it'd be around. Okay, I want this to go in the right corner inside the card. So I'm going to use Real Red, and I'm going to tap, tap, tap on my ink pad to ink it up. You don't want to squash it because these are really juicy. And put you a little there, and then I'm going to add one to the corner of the envelope. I'm going to close it up. Remember, our ink pads open and close like compacts. And then I'm going to take that little tiny stamp, that's the club, and I'm just going to put it around. And there you go. So, let me close that up. I'm going to put some adhesive here. And put it on the inside. So there you have a card with no naked inside, meaning there's something stamped there, and also no naked envelopes. So there you have it for today's demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next Thursday with Lunch with Laura. And remember, if you need to go to my website, I'd love for you to go and see what all's there. I've got a lot of samples for you to look at. And when you get ready to place your $50 order, put your code in, and you will get a pack of the vellum doilies. So thanks again. See you next week.